It's time for some straight talk. Little Star Wars intro there. Sad to say, Carrie Fisher played Princess Leia, died at age 60, and she'd had a heart attack on a flight and never recovered. I went to ICU and they thought that she was doing better, but apparently she never came out of it. And then what's even more ironic than that, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, one day after Carrie Fisher dies, Debbie Reynolds dies at 84. And I'm sure it had a lot to do with, the grief from seeing your daughter die. But, yeah, I just can't imagine that pain. But, Carrie Fisher had a lot of tribute to her. Of course, with her playing Princess Leia on Star Wars. And a lot of people that went on to online tributes for her, and rightfully so. She was an icon in the movie industry, playing under that Princess Leia. It's one of those kind of roles where it's hard to play something else because you're so well known for one role. You see some actors do it, and you see them. Probably Joe Pesci comes to mind as one that can switch roles and go from a funny character to a serious to, a mobster, and really convincing. Well, apparently, Cinnabon came out with the Princess Leia tribute, and they had a picture with how Princess Leia had the buns on the side of the ears. Well, it says the Cinnabon apologized for the Carrie Fisher tribute tweet and said they were truly sorry. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's a tribute to her, and tried to make a little bit light of the situation. I'm not they're not mocking her, but I think people get a little bit too sensitive. Even Steve Martin was attacked, wasn't physically attacked, but he was got a lot of backlash over Steve Martin. Tweeted out, he says his tweet read, let me see if I can get it here. Martin reportedly tweeted, when I was a young man, Carrie Fisher is the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. She turned out to be witty and bright as well. Fisher spent most of her career fighting against sexist coverage of her work and misogyny in Hollywood. So to be characterized as a beautiful creature who just happened to end up being smart would probably not have set well with her, at least according to the fans who rail against Martin's tweet. I guess, as evidenced by the response that Martin got to delete his tweet, it didn't sit well with them either. New York Magazine's Claire Lansbaum wrote a scathing rebuke of the tweet for the cut. It's an article. It says, which earned her some own criticism on the microblogging site. After he deleted the tweet, the controversy continued. So wait, the Steve Martin horror is that he declared or dared call her beautiful? It's that most people seem upset that he deleted it rather than he tweeted it in the first place, and the fact remains that the tweet is gone. I'm like, so you can't call her beautiful and smart and witty. He was trying to pay tribute to her, and it doesn't matter. They attack you for everything. It's a shame that she passes away. None of us get out of this world alive. Sorry. But I heard they had posted on some site that this next Star Wars that's supposed to be coming out, she had finished filming it before she passed away. So I know there's Rogue One's out now or whatever it is, and then there's supposed to be one after that. Just amazing how long this, Star Wars has lasted. I usually don't go see them in the theater. Probably would be one of the best environments to go watch a movie. But it's so expensive to go to a movie. Unless you go to the early ones or whatever. I just can't see spending that much money. But especially when I can wait and have it come out and watch it in the privacy of my own living room. But a lot of people like to go to movies. I don't know. It's just not for me. I just don't like the crowds, too. We have also in the news, we have, Debbie Reynolds passed away one day after her daughter passed away. She was an Oscar-nominated singer, actress, and mother of the late Carrie Fisher. Says she wants to be with Carrie. Her son Todd Fisher told Variety. She'd taken the hospital from Todd Fisher's Beverly Hills house Wednesday after a suspected stroke the day after her daughter died. So yeah, you see a lot of times that way where one family member will die or a husband and wife will die within short periods of time together. It's just sad to see that. To lose two. And they always go, the joke is they go in threes. George Michael was the one right before that. And I'm sure we could do a list of, actors and actresses that have died in 2016. And we'll probably get into that in a little bit, talk about that later. But Carrie Fisher, her last picture, she took a selfie with a Canadian YouTuber whose top clip, a tribute to Star Wars, has been viewed over 21 million times. Last year attended the premiere of The Force Awakens and met Carrie. He asked her for a selfie, and she agreed to take one, as long as Corey, who's quite a good-looking guy, they said, agreed to tell people that they were an item. So, just comical. It says, Corey Vidal Wright is a YouTuber on Star Wars and got the red carpet for The Force Awakens. So, kind of cool. Be the last picture. Sad that it's the last picture of her. The last Star Wars that they made, I liked the movie overall. The one thing I didn't like about the movie, I didn't like, not Lander, what's it, oh crap. He got killed off in the movie. Harrison Ford, but he played, who does he play, Corey? Han Solo, there we go. Han Solo getting killed off in the movie by his son, who plays like the next Darth Vader. And it was, the thing I didn't like about it, he quickly removed his mask too early in the movie. I didn't think he should have. I didn't like the fact that he was the bad guy. That was Darth Vader. He wore that mask for shows and shows and shows. I mean, you never saw him take it off till the very end. That's the thing is I didn't like he removed it too early and revealed who he was too early. And I didn't like that. But overall, I think the graphics and everything were phenomenal. Very, very cool. A lot of people were saying, oh, my God, there was this and that about the movie and talking about race. And I'm like, I didn't see anything wrong with anything the way the movie was done. I think it was a well done movie. I can't think of her name. She does the kind of like the lead role in it, becomes the one that meets Mark Hamill at the end there, where he's hot or oh God, I can't even think of the name. I'm terrible at movies naming the characters and stuff, but to see at the very end, he's like standing over the cliff looking out over the water. Hey, there you go. Corey got me. Luke Skywalker. But it's Rogue One. I'm sure he's probably more prominent in this one. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So, have you seen it, Corey?
No.
All right. He'll give me the lowdown on Rogue One when it comes out. We have quite a bit of fights in malls across the United States. Apparently, 15 big mall fights. It says Fort Worth Police Department received a call Monday. A fight had broken out in a food court nearby Holland Mall. About 200 teenagers were running, screaming, and fighting. Shopkeepers were going into lockdown, slamming their gates shut, with customers still inside. You had by the end of the night, there were at least 15 fights had broken out in shopping centers from Connecticut to Arizona. Videos posted to social media showed throngs of teenagers twisting like tornadoes through malls in Tennessee and Ohio, as bystanders uploaded their images throughout to the world. It says officers at several police departments suspect that episodes were loosely organized on social media. Though they cannot prove it yet, in Aurora, Colorado, the police heard through an anonymous tip that a Facebook post had told of a fight at the town center mall. He goes, we haven't actually seen the post. Sergeant Chris Amsler, a spokesperson for the Aurora Police Department, said in an interview, we don't know whether that's true, whether or not that exists. So you think about that. About 560 miles away, a similar situation was unfolding at the shops in Buckland Hills, Manchester, Connecticut. Hundreds of teenagers were mobbing the mall, forcing it to close early. Even the officers that were up there sensed that something was different. Before a fight broke out, a spokesman for Manchester Police said in an interview they just sensed something was in the air. Something that didn't seem right. The day after Christmas, one of the busiest shopping days of the year, where people were returning unwanted presents, using new gift cards, and searching after holiday sales. Some police officers said the chaos had the characteristics of so-called flash mobs, gathering loosely organized on social media. The police also speculated that unseasonably warm weather in some places may have also played a role. It says fights were reported in at least a dozen states, with 2 episodes in Connecticut and 3 in Tennessee. Fights were also reported at malls in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Illinois, Ohio, Arizona, New Jersey, Indiana, Colorado, and Texas. And a fight broke out at Roosevelt Field Mall in Long Island, which resulted in more than 70 calls placed to 911 by people who mistakenly thought that they'd heard gunshots. It says a little mischief can escalate into a full-scale police response. In Fort Worth, reports of shots being fired coincided with the mobs and fights, leading to response from the SWAT team and gang investigation unit. But no one was arrested. About an hour later, the chaos had subsided. So with all the fights going on, says, and disturbances, the malls have gone proactive, where they've decided to do and this is one mall. It says, Arden Fair uses new rule to limit mall brawls on day after Christmas. It says I can't even pronounce her name. One young girl was heading into the Arden Fair Mall with a friend Monday evening when a security guard stopped them and asked them if they had a parent or guardian. They weren't. They were surprised to find out their status as unaccompanied minors meant they were barred from entering. I thought this was really weird, the one girl said, who ended up going to see a movie instead. We weren't upset. We were just confused. Said that, you think about what the day after Christmas, but it's actually, says we in the past had several issues with safety and security at the mall the day after Christmas. Arden Fair spokeswoman Jamie Donnelly said, several issues with fights and unsafe activity. This is a way to make our mall safe on a day where their mall is typically has some bad history. I think it's smart. Be proactive. If they're not going to do is have a parent or guardian with them, they don't need to be there. Young kid that's 13, 14 years old, 15 years old, without the company of an adult, when they're going out there and it turns into chaos. And if you got 200 kids fighting, there's nothing you can do. You don't have enough security. You don't have enough police to get there in time where you could really have some injuries. So, you got, they said the day after Christmas, they had as many as 65,000 shoppers poured into an Arden Fair Monday in search of post-holiday sales. So you got 65,000 people there. If you got a couple, 200-300 people that are there to fight, you could really get some injuries. And you see the posts on Facebook all the time, these knockout games and stuff like that. I seen this. It was a little elderly old lady that was at a checkout at a grocery store, and a guy turned and knocked her out. Right in the checkout, took his stuff and walked out. I just don't understand that. That's just crazy. You have, with all these fights going on, it's very hard for the mall to police it and keep people safe. So to sit there and put it down to where they have it, where you have a parent or guardian, I don't find anything wrong with that. Keep the rest of the people in the mall safe. That's a smart way of doing it. With all stuff going on, we have within sports. I'll get into that here in a little bit, but with all the stuff going on with coming up New Year's Eve, coming up, precautions at Times Square, Bourbon Street, down for where they down in Louisiana where they have, or New Orleans where they have the big crowds for New Year's Eve. Well, they're going to do is ensure that truck driving tourists cannot get into the biggest city New Year's Eve crowds, and they're going to block off streets with trucks. So people can walk through, but they can't get through with big trucks to make a, turn it into like in Nice, France, or in Berlin, Germany. That seems to be the easiest way for somebody to cause problems. They don't have to worry about getting a gun. They just do is steal a truck from somebody. So, yeah, there's a lot of targets. ISIS has gone on, said they're going to attack all the way from, churches and, different places. They have a list. I haven't seen the list, and they won't. I don't think they're sharing the list. Which I think if you're on the list, you should be notified that you should be, protect yourself. And be cautious, because you never know. You get some nutcase that thinks they're following the right thing, and they go after you. So, me, I'm small fry. I don't have to worry about it. You had a bomb scare at the Trump Towers. And that wasn't the bad thing about it. The bad thing about it was with, they had evacuated, they had a suspicious package. Ended up being a backpack full of toys. Well, first day it's a backpack full of toys. Second day it's a backpack full of toys or something else. After a while, that backpack ends up being a bomb. And people get to the point where they're like, we've had, 5 different backpacks full of just toys and junk. Yeah, just forget about it. And that's when it becomes a real thing. When you loot, when your guard gets dropped, that's when it happens. So, but the problem wasn't with the backpack full of toys and how they responded, because Donald Trump wasn't there. But on MSNBC's Morning Joe, co-host Willie Geist and columnist Mike Barnacle criticized New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, Press Secretary Eric Phillips, for responding to a bomb scare at a Trump Tower by tweeting, "We'll send you the bill." Geist remarked, "It's pathetic. It's just sad that we have reached the point that where there's a bomb scare in the lobby and you tweet something cute about it." Barnacle added that the tweet was embarrassing for the de Blasio administration. I really think it's ridiculous that they would sit there and that's the first thing out of their mouth. The Trump administration thanked NYPD for the swift and fast response, and the response back was, "We'll send you the bill." Not, "Thank you," whatever, anything. I just think it's so... I mean, they're so against Donald Trump. I don't think they would do anything to... it really bothers me to think that they would not ensure his safety, that they're more worried about the bill. And I guarantee you, they wouldn't be billing if the government if it was Hillary Clinton elected. If she was staying in New York right now and living there and everything in her whatever home, you would never hear about the bill. You'd never hear anybody talking about it, and they would have never said a word like, "We'll bill you." Yeah, it's sad that how petty they've got, and de Blasio's got. It looked really pathetic for a department to tweet that out. "We'll send you the bill." Even if you're trying to be funny, that's not funny. That's just petty. So, the NBA has talked about how if the winning team, if LeBron James and them said if they win, they won't go back to the White House, with Trump. And, well, one, they might not get invited. But two, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, he says, politicizes White House visits, encourages champions to Trump or debate Trump. He says, and that's not a bad way to look at it, but Silver calls it a missed opportunity. If the league refuses to send members to celebrate the NBA Finals championship at the White House under President Donald Trump. He says, in an interview with Mike Weiss of theundefeated.com, Silver seemed to urge players to take their political activism right to the top instead of trying to make a statement of boycotting the Trump White House. To me, if a player were to choose not to go to the White House, whether they were choosing not to go to the current White House or future White House, my response would be, that's a lost opportunity, Silver said, because that's an opportunity that most citizens who have a political point of view would kill for. And I don't mean physically kill for, but it's just the opportunity to directly tell the President of the United States how they feel about an issue. Now, if the President were to say, I have no interest in what members of the NBA think about an issue, that might surprise me. And I might have a different response, Silver added. But Silver also noted the office itself is bigger than any single president. The institution is bigger than any one man, whether that man be President Obama or President Trump. Ultimately, players have to make their own decisions, but if they were seeking my counsel, this is Silver saying this, my counsel would be that they go to the White House if offered the opportunity, he said. Silver comments, though, raise the question as just what he wants players to do. Usually the NBA uses the champions visit the White House for league advertising, a quick handshake, a short banner, a photo op with the president. Never have players used this time for controversial political statements. So, I think he's got a point there. And I think that they don't realize that if a lot of people, if they boycott the White House, what happens if they do like the NFL and boycott the NBA? If people stop buying their jerseys and stop going to the games and watching it on TV and stop buying the advertising stuff that people advertise on their games and products, their placement. Well, then their cushy big salaries will go away. They're playing a game. That's the main thing they got to remember. So, and maybe Donald Trump doesn't care what they think. Speaking of, I named last show, Monday, was Simone Biles was AP Female Athlete of the Year. Well, LeBron James was named AP Male Athlete of the Year, which was no surprise. Says, with them winning the championship, in the beginning of the year, he's just unbelievable player. I would love to have him on my Bulls. My Bulls are hurting right now. I should be happy. My Cubs won, and I love to see the Bulls do well, though. You're speaking of, with the bomb threat at the Trump Tower. This is a Texas man threatened to kill Obama in the name of Allah, says authorities. A Texas man in Hill County or Hill Country jail after allegedly sending several letters threatening to kill President Barack Obama in the name of Allah. It says Gavin Friedman, 21, was in Kerr County Jail on unrelated charges when a federal grand jury indicted him for threatening to kill the President of the United States. The indictment alleges that Friedman sent 4 letters threatening the President. According to an article in KSAT in San Antonio, one letter allegedly written by Friedman in January states that Obama will be killed so that Friedman may be martyred in the name of Allah. Another allegedly written in April says that Friedman would assassinate Obama because Obama is a puppet for Zog Zionist organization government. It said the letters apparently not Friedman's first threats against the federal government. The 7-count indictment obtained by Breitbart, Texas, charges Friedman with 4 counts of threatening the president, 2 counts of mailing threatening communications, 1 count of sending mail threatening to use explosives. It said this explosive charge grew out of a September letter where Friedman allegedly stated that he would destroy the FBI field office in Houston and the White House. The September letter also stated Friedman's alleged threat against the president, where he reportedly wrote, "I'm going to kill him, he's dead," and it says expletive. The letter also contained threats against U.S. Attorney for Western District of Texas and his family. He said about a week later, Friedman allegedly mailed another threatening letter again to kill the president. He says, "I'm going to kill that stupid expletive." The indictment states in count 6, another letter mailed on the same day issued another threat against the U.S. Attorney for Western District of Texas and his family. It said the San Antonio ABC affiliate reported that Friedman has a criminal history that includes serving time in jail for assault and obstruction or retaliation. Friedman is being held in jail without bond, waived his initial court appearance. The detention order states that there is a serious risk exists that the defendant will obstruct or attempt to obstruct justice, or threaten, injure, intimidate, or attempt to threaten, injure, or intimidate a proper witness or juror. Serious risk exists that the accused will flee and clear the convincing evidence supports the conclusion that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety any other person or the community. So it was filed in San Antonio. So this guy he has a little bit anger issues. I don't like it when anybody makes a threat towards either a sitting president or past president or president-elect or any public official like that. The guys, I don't think the guy that's making all the threats is the guy that's a problem to worry about. Yes, he needs to be dealt with and he needs to be charged. The ones that I worry about are the ones that don't make the threat. They act on it. So that's a little scary to think that you got somebody that's that mental that they want to kill a president or all these people are different, FBI and everything like that. And then you get a guy who he targeted an armed gun store owner, which was not a good idea. Armed man in Mableton, Georgia, gun store owner shot and killed one of two suspects who allegedly ordered him to the floor Monday morning during a burglary gone wrong. It said the incident occurred at Dixie Gun and Pawn just as the store was opening for the day. It says, according to the news, store owner Jimmy Groover said that the two men were wearing masks, came in with guns drawn, demanded they get on the floor while shouting they were going to kill him. But Groover was wearing a handgun on his hip, and according to Fox 13 Memphis, police said Groover pulled out his gun and fired, hitting one of the gunmen. The suspects opened fire as well. The police arrived to find shattered glass and the body of one of the two suspects lying on the floor. The second suspect fled the scene. Groover said that his store has been robbed numerous times during the 30 years that his family has owned it, but this is the first time that the people allegedly tried to rob it during business hours. So, one of the guys paid for trying to rob this store with his life. Scary to think what's going on, and talking about anti-gun, gun agenda people out there. You have these people that feel that if you turn in all the guns, that it would stop all the violence. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's not going to do is, you can do is remove all the guns. They're going to find another way. Well, an anti-Second Amendment group on December 21st in Hempstead, New York, children were asked to hand over their toy guns in exchange for a toy that was not associated with firearms. The toy gun turn-in was spearheaded by Manhattan philanthropist Gene Shafirov. It said, with help of the Hempstead Heights Civic Association and Hempstead Mayor Wayne Hall. It says the NRA-ILA quoted a Newsday report in which Shafirov said, I wanted children to know that guns are not good toys. By exchanging them for a much better gift, it shows a toy gun is not worth having. So the Hempstead Civic Rights Association Lamont Johnson added, we need to get away from the culture to give appropriate toys. Hempstead is sending message, guns are not to be played with. The Newsday report makes clear that the toy guns turned in were not the kind of toys that can be confused with real guns. The kind would have been mistaken for actual firearms and result in officer-involved shootings. On the contrary, most of the toy guns handed in were brightly colored. This shows that the turn-in is really focused on taking toys rather than getting rid of objects that resulted in loss of life. It said the NRA-ILA observed the toy gun turn-ins have been around for decades and have come as part of the year-round ideological attack on harmless fun. We suspect that toy gun turn-ins are about as effective as achieving their goal as gun turn-ins that inspire them. So, you think these kids that, let's get rid of turn into guns and give them another toy. It says, said the camp was founded by Ralph E. Moore Jr., a Baltimore peace camp received a prize for handing over their toy guns. The Baltimore Sun quoted Moore comparing taking toy guns to taking candy cigarettes on the basis that the candy cigarettes were ordering kids to smoke. He said, I think toy guns in many ways are doing the same thing. The replica guns are dangerous. So, you think that if you take a squirt gun away from a kid, that's going to do is stop them from a life of crime. So if some of the kids, they might have grown up and not even had a squirt gun. So then you see they're trying to correlate that the kid having a squirt gun or a toy gun is going to do is get them to or leads them towards a life of crime or something like that, or to where they I don't get the correlation. I grew up, I went in the military, I had BB guns when I was a kid. I I think it's a personal choice. I never thought about going, I need a gun to go shoot somebody. No, I never thought about that. Never, and don't to this day. People don't realize that they're naive to what goes on until it happens to them, until they need something. It's like having a fire extinguisher in your house. You have a fire extinguisher in your house. It's great to have a fire extinguisher and not need it. It would suck to need a fire extinguisher and not have it. It's the same way with a gun. I have guns in my house, hoping I don't need them. But I hate to need a gun and not have it. So I just think that it's ridiculous to think that, we're going to live in some utopic society if we get rid of all guns. So, and they think that if you do, if you enforced all the laws right now and didn't let people off with gun crimes and stuff like that, you might be in a better off. But they're letting all these people out. People don't care. You have gun-free zones, everything. They don't care about those. All you did was tell them, hey, that's a target-rich environment. That's what they say. Well, apparently there were some burglary suspects in Florida that accidentally turned themselves in by fleeing to a police parking lot. In Boca Raton, Florida, police in Florida released video of two burglary suspects who accidentally turned themselves in by fleeing officers directly into a police parking lot. It says Boca Raton Police Chief Dan Alexander said in a Facebook post that residents reported a burglary in progress at a neighbor's home. Wednesday gave police a description of three suspects, 2 men and a woman, and the vehicle they were driving. The vehicle sped away from the area when the police approached and the suspects fled on foot. The female suspect was arrested near the scene of the crash, and the male suspects were seen fleeing northwest. Fortunately, the male suspects turned themselves in sort, the Facebook said. Their chosen course took them into police headquarters. Apparently not knowing where to get away. So, had woman claims that Uber on Christmas Eve or Christmas abandoned her 75 miles from her house. She was in Arizona, Lake Havasu. An Arizona woman who called Uber to take her home from Las Vegas hospital said the driver abandoned her 75 miles from home when he lost phone signal. Holly, tenant of Lake Havasu, said that she had complications from undergoing neurosurgery in recent weeks, including a lap band removal. The closest hospital that could treat her during the holidays was on Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center in Las Vegas, more than 150 miles away from home. Tenant said the ambulance took her to the hospital, and she decided to call Uber for a ride home. When she was released 2 days later on Christmas Day, she said her husband couldn't pick her up because he was caring for her 90-year-old mother or 4-year-old mother and the couple's 11-year-old autistic son. Just seemed like the logical thing. I could lay down on the back and have someone else drive. Tenant said she would fall asleep in the back and the Uber driver's Dodge truck and awoke at a Chevron gas station in Palm Gardens, Nevada, 5 miles from Las Vegas and 75 miles from Lake Havasu. She said the driver told her he wouldn't drive her any farther because his cell phone had lost signal, so Uber app wasn't functioning. He said, I am not going to take you farther if my phone doesn't work and I'm not getting paid. She said the driver gave her a choice, get out at the gas station or ride with him back to Las Vegas. Tenant decided to get out as soon as she discovered she couldn't order another Uber because her phone had also lost signal. She said her husband was able to pick her up about 2 hours later, so she had to wait there. I can't believe somebody taking an Uber 75 miles. You know, I only think of Uber driving you around town. You know, I don't think of it, driving 75 miles out of town or going 150 miles out of your way. Better pay good if you're going to do that. Another story about this. Apparently, this is a kind of a wild one here, but Pokemon crazed 6-year-old uses sleeping mom's thumbprint to buy $250 worth of toys. It says Little Rock, Arkansas, December 28th. An Arkansas mom, through her Amazon account, had been hacked until her 6-year-old admitted to using the sleeping woman's thumbprint to buy $250 worth of Pokemon. Think about that. The little girl used her mother's thumbprint to unlock her iPhone while she was taking a nap and opened the device on the Amazon app. Howell told the Wall Street Journal that $250 later, she has shopped for all her Christmas presents on Amazon. Howell said she thought she had been hacked when she received confirmation of $250 worth of Pokemon merchandise. Said Ashlyn's favorite, but the 6-year-old soon confessed to the shopping spree. Says, no, Mommy, I was shopping. But don't worry, everything that I order is coming straight to the house. She is really proud of herself, the mother said. Alice said she was able to return 4 of the items, but the rest of the purchase were non-refundable. She said the Pokemon haul ended up in Ashlyn's Christmas gifts, while Santa found out that what Santa is going to bring you for Christmas, she said. So, I don't know if I would have been so happy as the mother and just let it go. But, I mean, I put my son, youngest son, and a friend of his signed me up for an Amazon Prime account. And it's pretty easy to bill up some charges there. And I was getting a $5 a month bill, and I could not figure out why. And I was like this $4.99 bill. And it was for a book, Amazon book account. And I never signed up for this. Well, I'd got it for a couple months, and I was like, I finally canceled it, and I blocked all the purchase ability on the App Store. So my son can't, make purchases like that. So we were talking earlier about, a little sports related. It says, want to see the ball game? Well, scan your iris first. It says, Lazaro Torres, a diehard Miami Heat fan, was scurrying to reach his seat before tip-off of one night last month when he hit an all-too-common roadblock. 24 fans stirring impatiently in the security check line. Not a problem. He slid in a special entrance line, laid 2 fingers on the print scanner. With the Heat's rapid blessing, cruised into the arena. Said it's been great. Torres, a 43-year-old season ticket holder, said all the services known as Clear, which offers queue skipping privileges for 6 U.S. sports teams, including New York Yankees and Mets baseball franchises. His interview was necessarily brief. I'm running a little late. Says attending a game used to be a low-tech feature, or low-tech pleasure. Buy a ticket, grab a bleacher seat. Now it's with metal detectors, bag checks, staying at almost all major sporting events. Companies have been offering biometric and other tools to create equivalent express security lanes like those in airports. Those fingerprints, iris scans also allow teams to track fans' behavior before purchasing habits, help them rake in more revenue and fatten profits, while triggering the same time the privacy concerns that this sort of technology, the other part of the economy. You think about that. It says where passengers can get fast tracked for $179 a year. At stadiums, teams pay a licensing fee and fans pay nothing. So you think about that. You get your iris scan when you go into a basketball game or a baseball game. Well, a way to track you. I don't know if you've been to any of the NBA games or whatever. I went to the Bulls game. It's been a while, but they just take a little PDA out. They make your order. Boom. They hand you a little ticket. Tell you, it's got the seat where you're at. It isn't 30 seconds later, here comes somebody with your drink or they're not exchanging money right there. It's all credit card based, stuff like that. Now, it's like these PayPal here or, all these different, little swipe things. It's real quick. It's going to go beyond that. It's going to go to where wherever your seat is, your ticket, and it's just going to boom. It's just going to be added to your ticket, your phone or whatever. That's the problem is it's getting away from cash. And I tell you what, we don't want to get to a completely cashless society because we get to be a completely cashless society, we're going to end up being like Greece. And when they do negative interest rates, they take money from you because they want to do, rather than having a reason, just, okay, the government needs more money, and we're just going to take it from you. Well, you take do cashless society, you got no way to fight back. You got no way to, sit there and take your money and put it. All it is a number sitting in the bank. You've seen the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance, and what do? They do a fire sale. And, you're sitting there thinking about that guy's hacking in, and he deletes, the 401k account of the police officer. It could, probably be that easy for some of these people to hack into your account. It's scary to think what they can do to it. You got all these different organizations. We're talking about how they're hacking in the other day, talking about hacking in through your, like your thermostat or your fridge, that's Wi-Fi connected. Most everything's Wi-Fi connected now. Right now I got a set of headphones that are in here that connect to my phone. If they are able to Bluetooth connect and Wi-Fi connect through, these hackers find a way to do it. Apparently, also, this is a leaked transcript, claimed that it helped Palestinians orchestrate anti-Israel UN resolution. That apparently the Obama administration denies it, but a leaked transcript said an Egyptian newspaper published what it says were leaked transcripts of alleged secret meeting between senior White House officials, including Secretary of State John Kerry and the Palestinian Authority, that purport to show that the Obama administration orchestrated the anti-settlement resolution at the UN Security Council. I just find it hard to believe that we would cause this much problems for an incoming president. Well, Donald Trump has claimed that it was supposed to be a smooth transition. Well, apparently not. So they've been going back and forth a little bit. Also in the news, talking about kind of quick-paced news to get out of here. Germany, we'll go into that one. That one's going to be a Friday post. But Queen Latifah, car stolen, carjacked at a gas station. Also, this is a weird one. California man arrested, charged with DUI, and tested positive for caffeine. It says Fairfield, California, Joseph Schwab, a 36-year-old California man faced man charged with DUI wants the case dropped against him because the blood test following his arrest came back positive only for caffeine. In August 2015, an alcohol beverage control agent pulled over and arrested Schwab for weaving in and out of traffic, almost causing several collisions for believing he was under the influence of a drug. He goes, I was in 100% confident that I was not under the influence of anything, Schwab said. Agent found legal workout powders inside the car and conducted several field sobriety tests in which agent said she saw Schwab's pupils were dilated. A breathalyzer test showed Schwab's blood alcohol content at 0%. The driver seemed very amped up, very agitated, very combative, and she thought he was under the influence of something. It's a Solana County District Attorney Krishna Adams said Schwab was taken to jail where he agreed to take a blood test. The toxicology report showed he tested positive only for caffeine. Schwab's trial is scheduled to begin January 11th. Goes, I didn't believe it, Stacey Barnett, Schwab's attorney said. I actually consulted with the other attorney in my office to make sure I wasn't missing something. No one believed me that I only had caffeine in my system until I showed them the lab results, Schwab told The Guardian in a statement. I want the charges to be dismissed and my name to be cleared. Abrams said the district attorney's office will move forward with the DUI case, citing the possibility that a drug not tested for influenced Schwab. So this is a case without a blood test, without a blood result, so it makes it very difficult challenge to prove in court, Abrams said. Sharon Henry, Chief Deputy District Attorney for Solano County, said the charge of driving under the influence is not based upon presence of caffeine in his system. About 90% of Americans consume caffeine every day, making it by far America's most popular drug, Solano University said in a study. So you think about that. This guy, he's getting arrested, and they're still charging him, and they're still making him go to court to fight it, and the only thing they could find was caffeine. I think it's because he's a crappy driver. Ticket him for swerving and failure to maintain lanes, whatever, multiple times, and be on about it. Let him go. But to make him go to court, over this, over somebody that, because you think his pupils were dilated, if you couldn't find any drugs in his system, let him go. Drop the charge, write him the tickets, let him go. I think it's stupid to press on with it. Oh, also, no, I'm going to talk about this. We'll talk about this more Friday. But apparently, Germany is considering fining Facebook $522,000 per fake news item. And tell me this doesn't sound perfect example that Germany's going along with. He says the government of Germany is considering imposing a legal regime that would allow fining social networks such as Facebook up to 500,000 euros, 523,000 for each day the platform leaves a fake news story up without deleting it. It says, in the name of combating harm from false news, the German government next year will consider the bill, which has bipartisan support, that will allow both official and private complaints to flag content that is considered fake news. Tell me, this is trying to do is the free speech is gone. It is going to be gone. And so the law would also force the social networks to create in-county offices focused on responding to takedown demands. It would make these networks responsible for compensation if a post by an individual user were found to slander someone. Oh my God, you're kidding me. If they pass this, it's how are you going to, what are you going to do? Are you just going to have unicorns and roses and little rainbows and, on every Facebook post? How do you sit there? I mean, there's going to be stuff that's going to offend people. There's going to be stuff that people determine as a fake story, and it could be true. So, a lot of people still think that the emails that came out of Hillary's were fake, but they're not. They say, Russia hacked the emails from Hillary. Well, even if they did hack them, the content of what was in them, they don't argue that content. They argue that Russia hacked them. So it's okay that she was a piece of crap, but it was wrong that Russia proved that she was a piece of crap. So, well, it's that time of the night. We are a fast hour, as they call it. Well, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, her mom, and George Michael. So they say that his estate is worth like $125 million, and bound to go up another $10 million with the recent resurgence of his music from his death. So sad to see they go in threes. So, well, everybody have a great night, a great weekend, or a great week, and we'll see you on Friday for the last show of the 2016 for me. And I'll be on Night Talk with Joe Rocks tomorrow night. So, everybody have a great night, great week. And if you see something, say something. But most of all, be safe.